Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Now today's first story comes from a throwaway account and it's titled, "My son came out and my wife handled the situation badly." And I just want to give you a warning before we do get into the story, it does contain homophobia. Hey, I posted this in a parenting subreddit last night and someone recommended that I post it in an LGBT one to get a better perspective on how to handle things with my son. I would honestly appreciate all advice on how to help him. Writing this on a throwaway account since I know my son is on Reddit. The long and short of it is that my son came out to me and my wife took it extremely badly. I don't know how to handle either one of them, although for completely different reasons. Basically, here's how things happened. Wednesday, I came home from work and my son said he had something to tell me. He was obviously fidgety about something, and after a bit of rambling, he eventually told me he was gay. To be honest, I already knew. He's a good kid and pretty damn smart, but I'm a programmer and therefore the computer guy. I'm the one that everyone calls to fix their computers and laptop. So without drawing a picture, I already knew he was gay. So when he finally came out to me, I was actually kind of relieved. He and I have always had a good relationship, but he never told me, and I was kind of wondering if maybe we didn't have such a good relationship. In any case, I did the dad thing of telling him that I loved him, and all I really wanted from him was for him to be safe and happy. He was just really relieved, I guess. Anyway, he asked me to be there when he told his mother. Which, now that I think about it, is probably why he came out to me first. Now, she is a deeply religious woman. She wasn't always, but somewhere along the line, she turned from being just somewhat religious to being deeply, deeply devout, and if I'm being honest, I couldn't really pin down when or how that happened. I'm not religious in the slightest, although I do the occasional church going and church related functions to make her happy. Anyway, when she got home, I waited for my son to take the lead on when to tell her. It's when he told her that things went to hell. I don't think she really believed it at first, probably thought it was some kind of joke or something, but when she realized it wasn't, first started crying and then went into what I can only call a rage. He tried to calm her down and I tried to help get her not to see this as the end of the world, but she kept going on about how this wasn't the plan for him and about grandkids and a bunch of other things, but she just kept working herself into some kind of frenzy. Eventually she went to his room and starts dumping his clothes and tells him to get out of the house. My son is bawling at this point and I just completely flip out. I order him to go to my bedroom and stay in there, and I just unleash on her. I pretty much say what kind of mother she is and that I'll be 3 weeks dead and buried before I let him leave. And she gets angry at me for not backing her up on this and that being gay is wrong and a bunch of other bullshit. Anyway, after a hell of a heated fight, she leaves and goes to stay at her parents. I try talking to my son. He's just devastated and blaming himself for everything. And I'm not sure what to do here. I let my son skip school for the last couple of days as kind of a mental health day, although I let him know that he will go back on Monday. I haven't spoken to my wife since that night, and I'm not even sure what I could or should say to her. And I'm not sure how to handle my son either. He's not the usual self, and I don't know how to get him to stop blaming himself. He says he wants to spend the night at a friend's house, which is fine. I figure his friends can offer different kinds of support than I can, but I'm at a complete loss. I think I did my best, although writing this I realized that since I knew he was gay for a while, I should have tried to slowly ease her into the idea to make this less explosive, or maybe if I stayed calmer earlier, I could have handled it less emotionally. I just don't know where to go from here or how to handle any of this. But before we go to the updates, we'll start with Ford Birkin who says, "You sir are the parent most of us dream of having. Your son is the luckiest boy on the face of this planet. Thank you on behalf of all of us who are afraid our parents would disown us, particularly our fathers, for being who we are. You are amazing. That being said, I know it sounds simple, but you've got to take it one day and situation at a time. Your wife will hopefully calm down and realize that our relationships with you and your child are more important than the narrow view she is currently demonstrating. Your son, if he didn't already know, for sure knows he's got a fucking amazing father on his side, and knowing that he has that kind of support will go far. He'll need reassurance, and if he's like his father, will likely be reaching out to give whatever of himself he can to support you. So until she sees reason, or makes up her mind on how to approach this, support each other, keep or try to keep an open line to mum too. I'm sure many of us will lend our support as well. Chris Was My Boy says, I'm very surprised that only one comment so far mentions PFLAG, parents and friends of lesbians and gays. One of the primary reasons this organization exists is to assist, guide and mentor parents of gay kids who are just coming out. There are many chapters across the US and Canada, one probably not far from where you live. They have once a month meetings, usually as a group of 25 parents of gay kids. Many of the parents are veterans whose child came out many years ago and have lots of experience and wisdom to share. A handful of newbies, parents whose kids just recently came out. Your wife needs to attend some meetings with you, and she can talk about all of her emotions, fears, dreams, etc. with all the other parents who have been through the same thing. I went with my mum a few times after I came out, and the meetings were wonderful. The group was very welcoming, and it proved to be a very cathartic experience. Your wife needs to talk about these things, and not just with you because you don't have the experience to guide her. The other parents do. And that's pflag.org. But OP went on to edit their post in r/parenting and said, wow, thank you everyone all so much for all your support. Some people have sent me various websites that I should look at, which I'm slowly making my way through. As for my son, we haven't spoken since he left last night. As for my wife, I think I'm going to be waiting on her to make some kind of overture to speak at least through the weekend. Give her some time and space to get herself together. If I don't hear from her by Monday, I guess I'll call and try to figure out where to go from here. I did post this on a gay subreddit to get some more feedback from other people after some here recommended that. I'm still reading through everyone's responses. Thank you all again so much for your help and support. Then OP headed on over to r/AskGayBros and they said, wow, thank you all for the unbelievably kind words. I'm trying to read all your responses and PMs, but there was a lot more than I expected. I'm reading them all and making sure to note of any of the websites, videos, and organizations you have told me about. The people at r/parenting, as well as you all mentioned PFLAG. We all live in the Louisiana area very close to New Orleans. I'm certain there is something like them here. I'll be doing some reading up on them as soon as I finish this post. I wish I had some kind of big update, but nothing really. I didn't sleep much this week and I passed out shortly after posting the original message. I did talk to my son after I woke up. He got home sometime earlier today. He seems to be holding up okay. But you guys did put the fear of him doing something rash in my mind. I'm going to talk to him again and see what I can do about finding some kind of family therapist to help. As for my wife, I decided to give her some time and space, at least until Monday. If I haven't heard from her by then I'll try and contact her, and depending on what she says will determine where we go. I do want to make it clear that I don't think it will come to divorce or anything like that, but if the worst were to pass, I will choose my son. It's a choice between him and anything else. He wins. He will always win. Some people asked about our location, which is Louisiana near New Orleans, and her faith, which is Southern Baptist. There also seems to be some confusion about the timeline regarding when my son went to his friend's house. He went last night, Friday. Everything happened on Wednesday. He does sleep over at his friend's occasionally, or his friend here. They usually spend way too much time watching movies or playing something on the PC or PS4. Also, he is 16. I'm 39, his mother is 37. Again, I want to thank you all so much for your support. I promise I'm reading all your replies and will take any advice to heart. Just thanks again for everything. Opie added a comment that was down below and said, I'll be honest, I read this and I wasn't sure if I should or not. I just felt like maybe he went to his friend's place to get his mind off things or something, but between your messages and PM I received earlier, I decided to send him a text saying something very similar to what you said, telling him that I love him and what he did was one of the bravest things I've ever seen and I couldn't be prouder of him. I'm not sure if it will mean a lot to him or just an eye roll, but figure better to have said it than not. Opie then comes in with another update which says, hello everyone, I wasn't sure if I wanted to post this update. I'm not someone who really feels the need to post everything about their lives on the internet, and I really didn't want to really post a message in a subreddit about gay men and women answering questions without posting an actual question. But everyone here has been incredibly kind and supportive, and despite posting the message nearly a week ago, I'm still receiving an influx of supportive messages from people. So I'm writing this update to let people know what's been going on. If no one cares or is off topic, then please by all means downvote this into oblivion. I guess I'll start with my son. You all really put the fear of him hurting himself into my head, so I ended up talking to him about it in what I can only describe as the most miserable conversation of my entire life. I talked to him about how much I love him, how I always want him here, and he's the most important thing in the world to me, and I don't know what I would do if he were gone. Then I gave him one of my business cards. It has my work number on it, obviously, but I also wrote my cell number on it in case he doesn't have access to his phone to remember what it is, but also had the number from the Trevor Project, which someone was kind enough to tell me about, as well as the number from the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. I told him to please put the card in his wallet, and if he ever feels like he's going to hurt himself, to please call me or one of those other numbers. He took it and said thanks, and he was really trying his damnedest to reassure me that he wasn't really thinking about anything like that. We only had one more real heart-to-heart conversation, that same exact night actually. I was in the living room trying to find something to watch on Netflix or Hulu, and he approached me. He kind of sat there for a while and then apologized for making me worry and for starting everything that's happened. I tried my best to shut that down as hard as I could. Told him he didn't have anything to apologize for, that nothing that is going on is his fault, that he was only doing what I've always told him to do, which is be honest with me, and that's what he did, and that I'm proud of him. I know I'm probably sounding like a broken record to him at this point, but I really feel like I need to hammer that home. I did bring up that I was thinking of us going to some family counseling. To be honest, I was actually expecting a lot of pushback here, that he would think I was trying to fix him or something, but nothing. He seemed okay with it. The rest of the night was really nice, just us watching TV together and just talking about nothing. The rest of the week with him, I tried my best to keep things as normal as possible for him, just like how it would be otherwise. I really wanted to give him a sense of normalcy. Other than him spending a lot more time in the living room watching TV with me instead of his bedroom, things are okay, I guess. He's still not himself, but he's more himself than he was last week, and I'm not sure if he's spending more time with me because he wants to be sure I'm around, or he wants to reassure me, or if he just wants access to the bigger TV in the living room. A few of you did mention that I should do what I can to remind him that our house means it's his house too. So I told him to invite his friends to stay over this weekend, which they are. Actually, just dropped them all off at the movies a while ago. They're gonna watch something, then get something to eat afterwards and call me to pick them up. But yeah, I'm just trying to help him get to normal. As for my wife, things didn't go well. I did call her late on Monday after my son went to bed. I will also admit that while I do love her, I was also very upset with her. I was trying to give her time and space to process things, and I know it's not fair to get more angry with someone that you are purposely giving space to be less angry, but I was not happy that I was the one that had to do the reaching out first. But I tried to put that aside and wanted to know where her head was at. I know there were going to be things I or we needed if we were going to find a way to get past this, so I kind of made a list of them in my head. The first thing we all needed was to go to family counselling, and I had to be the one that chose who the counsellor was. Next was she had to find some way to get past the gay thing, whether it be therapy or prayer or whatever, I don't care, but she needed to find a way to just deal with it. And third, she needed to find a way to make it up to him, and again, I don't care how. I feel this was a reasonable list. Anything else would be up for discussion, but I was going to die on those hills. And when we talked on Monday, she agreed that she needed counselling. However, she felt we should go to one sponsored by the church. I told her that was off the table. I wanted a counsellor who could be neutral and who I could trust when left alone with him. And we circled this point until nearly 3 a.m. So we decided to pick this up again on Tuesday, where we had exactly the same discussion until very late in the night. And then we did it all again on Wednesday. Wednesday night I told her that we needed to do this in person and finally fucking get somewhere with this. So Thursday morning I told my son I was going to be very late coming home. Left him some money to order a pizza and told him that he and his friends could start their weekend shenanigans a day early if they'd liked. And then after work on Thursday, I went over to her folks and we tried to have this talk again. And we got nowhere with it. I just refused to go to someone I can't trust. So sometime later, I don't know, I guess I let go. I just gave up. I broke. I just couldn't fucking do it anymore. I just couldn't keep circling that fucking wagon anymore. I know you shouldn't make life-altering decisions when you've only had about 8 hours of sleep spread over about 9 days and none of it intervals greater than 20 goddamn minutes, but I was just done. I just couldn't do it anymore. I tried, I really did. I really wanted to make it work. We were together since college and I do love her, but I just can't do it. I can't create a situation where my son could be hurt, especially now. I have to be there for him. Someone has to be. So I said it's probably for the best that we stay apart and I would bring her the rest of her things over this weekend, and I left. I went to Walmart, grabbed some boxes, cried for about half an hour in my car, and then went home. Got home at some ungodly hour to find a couple of my son's friends asleep on my couch. I realized that when I told my son to invite his friends, I meant to spend the day, and he thought I meant spend the night. I ordinarily don't like having other people's kids in my house during a school night, but whatever. I blame myself for not being clearer, and I'm going to have to gently remind him of that fact later. I couldn't sleep last night. I was quite literally too tired to sleep, so I waited until the time my kid goes to school. Woke them all up, made them all breakfast, sent them all off to school, sent my boss an email taking a sick day, and then finally fell asleep for about 10 hours. Which brings me to now, where I drove my kid and his friends to the movies. I've decided I'm not ever going to tell my son about some of the things she said when we were talking. I don't want to make him feel worse, and I do actually want them to have some kind of relationship in the future, and I don't feel any need to add poison to the well. As for now, I'm going to do something to get my mind off things. Maybe play a game or watch TV or just browse Reddit until I need to pick them up. I do actually want to thank everyone again for all your messages. I think I've read and reread every message a half a dozen times. It was nice to see so many good people. A lot of your stories were really heartbreaking. I'm really sorry you had to go through that. I wish you had someone in your corner. Everyone deserves someone in their corner. As one internet stranger to another, you are all really strong people. And then OP's comment finally says, actually, that's where it is going. I didn't put it in the update, but yeah, I'm going to contact a divorce attorney on Monday. I haven't figured out how to tell my son yet, but that's a tomorrow problem. I just don't want to think tonight. And I gotta say, this story was bittersweet for me. It was really sweet in the way that dad handled the situation, got his son's back and is 100% behind him, and seeing the love and support that the son absolutely deserves is a wonderful thing to see. And just saying that his son will always be chosen first, I think is just absolutely fantastic. From the wife's point of view, thinking about how you can just turn on your child like that, just so instantly. It's just, I'm in tears thinking about that, to be quite honest, and thinking about the struggle that OP's son is going to face because of him thinking about how his mother's treating him and him thinking it might be his fault. But it does sound like the father is getting a handle on it with the support, the resources that people have suggested, and I really hope that they did go down that path and got all the support and love that they needed. I really, really do wish them the best. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And we're going to have one more story from Am535799, who asks, am I the arsehole for returning my daughter's birthday cake after I discovered that my wife made changes to it? I, male 37, have a daughter, now 13, Olivia, from my former relationship. Currently, I'm married to my wife who has a daughter, 16, Brittany. So Brittany is the opposite of Olivia. For example, Brittany's the social kid, Olivia is an introvert. The list is long, but they're just the complete opposite. Olivia's 13th birthday was 2 days ago. She loves chocolate, and I decided this is the flavor I was going to go with when I contacted the bakery. However, my wife objected since Brittany absolutely hates chocolate and suggested we go with vanilla. I said no way because for one, Olivia hates vanilla and it's also her birthday, so she gets to have her cake with her favorite flavor. My wife got upset and took it as in I had no regard for Brittany and that we should just choose another neutral flavor instead. I shut that down and said no more discussing this because I'd already decided to go with what Olivia wanted. At the day of the birthday, I was supposed to go get the cake, but I was surprised to see my wife coming home after picking up the cake from the bakery. I looked at it and discovered that it wasn't a chocolate cake, but a vanilla cake with small pieces of chocolate on top. I got pissed thinking they got my order wrong and was about to contact them. But my wife said there was no mistake and that she called the bakery the day before and made slight changes to the cake to please both girls. I was stunned. I lost it on her and asked why the hell she did that. She got defensive, saying that birthdays are no excuse to show favoritism and that her daughter is watching and observing how I'm treating both girls. I told her off since I was the one paying and called the bakery and explained what happened. Had the cake returned and replaced with a chocolate cake, although this one is smaller, but it was fine. My wife declined to take part in the celebration, and later we got into a huge argument where she called me controlling and selfish for returning the cake instead of using the opportunity to teach Olivia to compromise so everyone's happy. Now I'm teaching her to be selfish. I said that my daughter gets to act selfish on her birthday and that she, my wife, was teaching her daughter to be entitled. Word for word, and it led to a bigger argument. We're not talking as of now. Am I the arsehole for returning the cake and not taking my wife's input into consideration? And we'll start off with Love Dove Bunny, who says not the arsehole, it's Olivia's birthday, not Brittany's birthday. The cake should be the flavour of what the birthday kid wants. This is a special day for Olivia, therefore there doesn't really need to be fairness between your daughters. I don't like chocolate, but when it's my sister's birthday, we get chocolate because it's what she likes. I suck it up because it's her special day. Your wife is an arsehole for going behind your back. The cake was basically vanilla to make Brittany happy, with tiny bits of chocolate for the birthday girl. Why can't Brittany learn to compromise? She's older, and she should know she can't get what she wants on a day that's not her birthday. Let Them Eat Hay says not the arsehole, your wife is projecting onto you because she is the one showing favoritism. You signed up for this, OP. You signed your daughter up for this. Welcome to the wind-up. Fire Award Kai says not the arsehole, but OP, do you see the flags? A birthday cake is for the person whose birthday it is. It's not selfish or demeaning to get the person's favorite flavor. Your stepdaughter could have had a vanilla cupcake, but no, your wife made the point to go behind your back and change it for her daughter. Your wife talks about her daughter as observing how you treat her, so your daughter doesn't matter. Your daughter would see a stepmom who doesn't give two shits about her. Hypocrisy much? You did well in changing the cake, but you have way bigger problems in your home. The fact that she just did this so flagrantly tells me that she's been messing with your kid for a while. You probably just caught on. And the comments pretty much just kept coming in, not the arsehole, with an occasional you're the arsehole if you stay with this person as well. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, support and time as always means the absolute world. So thank you so much for getting involved. I can never express how much it really does mean. Thank you. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. Okay,